We're carrying on with the build-up until the transfer window. The transfer window is still 2 months away, but we at EPL News are keeping you ahead of the curve with the best transfer stories making the rounds. Going straight into the action, Victor. According to reports, Liverpool are interested in making a £69.3 million move for Nottingham Forest defender Murillo. What do you make of this report?
I think he would be a good option, but I believe there would be better center backs out there for especially for this sort of money. Look, Van de Ven should be available for around the same money, even if Spurs are not relegated, and probably half of that amount if they do go down. Bastoni would be about 60 million. Perhaps a new contract for Konate would make sense if Liverpool think he can get back to his best form. I'm not slamming Murillo. He's good, but I think there are some other better options out there. I would even take a proper look at Milenkovic too, since they're watching Forest anyway.
Interesting take. And over to you, Max. Something we all saw coming, anyways. After now sacking Igor Tudor, Tottenham Tottenham are really pushing hard for Roberto De Zerbi. The plan is actually to appoint him now before the summer, and they are doing everything possible to convince him. The manager himself wants to come rather in the summer if they do not go down. But do you think this is the right call for the club and the manager?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like De Zerbi is a great manager, but does he really fit Spurs at the moment? Because even under Postecoglou, with a pretty much simple football, they've been struggling a lot. While for the De Zerbi pressing and high defensive line, it kind of feels like they're gonna concede at least two or three each game, and it feels like they need a lot of budget to improve the squad if they really want to dig him down. So I feel like even if they want to appoint him, it should definitely be in summer because at the moment, if he brings all his ideas, they can even end up being in championship because the players at the moment doesn't really fit for his style of football. I would probably say don't try to put him now. Just end up the season with anybody actually, because I feel like with their squad, even without a manager, they can still survive because they're too much above the West Ham and Nottingham Forest and other teams in terms of squad. So it kind of feels like you should better wait and see how it goes with summer. Spend a lot of money if you have the budget for it, and do bring the Zerbi the players he wants, so you can definitely perform better next season.
If they don't have the budget, maybe they can sell the stadium.
Exactly. That's another thing to do. Right. It would be nice to see that big stadium in the championship, though. But anyways, moving on, Victor. So rumors are starting to grow that Bruno Guimaraes is likely to join Manchester United if Mikel Carrick remains as the permanent manager. Do you think this would be a welcome move for player and club?
I think it would be a good move for Man United. Surely, it's quite understandable that Guimaraes wants to know what kind of manager will be in charge next season before signing off on a move like this. Though, let's remember there's the World Cup this summer, so it could also be that Newcastle might add a fair bit of money to his price tag if he performs very well. I think with Man United, is Carrick the man to continue the development next season? I have my doubts, but getting someone like Guimaraes would be a great statement of intent on their part, regardless who's the next coach.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. And back to you, Max. This piece of news has been, going on since last summer, and now once again reports claim that Cole Palmer is becoming frustrated at Chelsea, and with Manchester United showing an interest in signing him. Do you think there is any truth to this, Max?
I mean, it could be because we also saw that friend of Palmer also was mentioning that he's probably joining United this summer, but I feel like Chelsea would never let him go for the price below like 120 or 150 million. And I'm not that sure that United really need him for that amount because you could sign, for example, Bellingham that would definitely fit better for the squad because you already have Bruno that is a great playmaker for the team, and it feels like they're probably going to play in pretty much the same position, and he wasn't that great this season as he was previous season. So there's a lot of ifs, and I'd probably say better not risk that money and try to bring CDM, as we already mentioned, Bruno Guimaraes, and maybe improve your fullbacks so you do a bit better next season. And it kind of feels like that the position of Palmer is not that you really need to improve this summer.
Hmm. Yeah, well, fair point if you put it that way. On the final note, Victor, this one is about a potential outgoing. Atletico Madrid are showing an interest in Arsenal's Brazilian duo, Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Do you think the Gunners should cash in on both players or not?
Absolutely. I think it's clear both are surplus to requirements. And especially for Martinelli, they should be able to get a decent transfer fee. Of course, it also depends on who they bring in the summer to replace these two. Arteta will need a lot of money again because Gyökeres is not good enough and they need to buy a starting striker, not a backup like Jesus. If they can get something like 50 to 60 million for Martinelli and Jesus, I would say absolutely go for it.
Right. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the summer transfer window is getting closer and closer. And we at EPL News will be keeping you ahead of the call with the latest transfer news and development as they happen.